So I'll start off. So just welcome everyone. I am Jeff Henwood. I'm the Senior Director of Policy and Advocacy with Alberta Municipalities, and joined by my colleague Tara Ward, who joined us last month, right? Just last month, and is leading a lot of the work on social policy. And so new addition to the team, and happy to be here for the webinar today. Again, at Alberta Municipalities, we are committed to helping you, our members, access grant funding. In the fall of 2023, we began hosting an annual series of 4 webinars. I'm happy to be back today for the first and the third series of webinars. Grants in your municipality, drugs, homelessness, and mental health. Can grants help? In addition to webinars, we have teamed up with Alberta Business Grants to bring you the latest information on available grants via a weekly newsletter. That does go out the first 4 Mondays of the month. You can sign up for the Grant Gazette by visiting abmunis.ca, then joint programs, then municipal and not-for-profit grants. So once again, we're joined by David Kincade, founder of Alberta Business Grants. David's background is 13 years as a successful grant writer and totals over $40 million in wins. He is the lead instructor for the Advanced Grant Writing course and author of Golden Grant Rules, the ultimate guide for winning government grants. So with that, I'll turn the floor over to David.
Okay, thank you very much, Jeff, and welcome everybody. It is great to be back. I hope you had a good summer. Can you believe how fast it went? We are building on our webinar last time around you doing sort of more of a working session. Earlier ones we were doing like a PowerPoint, but this one you're going to be working. So wherever you are right now, if possible, try to be at your computer. Because you're going to be sharing your screen, putting stuff in the chat. It's going to be more of a working session. I'm going to show you things. I want you to do things, and then we're going to share things. And hopefully through that, we can all become more successful at writing high quality grant applications and ultimately helping the citizens in our communities, right? That's what we want to do. So with that, if you can just get comfortable, the chat is going and we'll be sharing things. I'm going to share the document that we'll be working on. I'm actually going to do that right now. So if you look in the chat, hang on, everybody. I am putting it in there. Here it comes. Can everyone just give me a thumbs up that you got this or download it? Just try to open it up for a minute. I want to make sure that you've got that. And while that's getting started, I'm going to share that now. You know what, Jeff? If you have it, no, I can't see anything, nothing. Oh, hold on. I know why. My bad.
You can say, yeah.
Hold on. I got you. Now let's try that. Me to everyone. Did that work? Nice. All right. All right. All right. We can do this. We can win grants and we can attach documents in chats. I'm telling you, we're on fire. All right. Let's get into this here. Now, I give you this as just some context. You know, you're always getting the documents that for every webinar. So I strongly encourage you, and some of you are probably doing this already, to have a binder, because like last time we did economic grants, and you can just have this sweet binder with all these resources. And of course, this is just draft and working document, but we're going to go through it. So Jeff, if you've got that, I think people that join in next, you can just watch that chat for me. That'd be great. So if people are looking for this, they can open it up. Okay, some announcements before we get into this. One is, as part of this program that we're doing, there's this grant database. So if you click on this, there's there's 293 grants available from municipalities. You know what? I'll put it in the chat for you, but it's in this document. I've hyperlinked a lot of this stuff. There's also this pro. I know some of you are seeing it, but just so you know what it looks like, these are all the grants we track. Look at this. This is all municipalities. So these are deadlines. So be sure, if you're not, many of you are getting this, But if you're not, please email me right there, David K at albertabusinessgrants.ca for the coupon. I'll send it to you and help you get set up, okay? And also, our next webinar will be in December, and I'll put that in the chat now. It's going to be your 2026 grant calendar. That's more along the lines of, here, I'll just put that in right now. Just hold on a minute. There you go. Um, Feel free to sign up for that. We've done that each December as we update the latest grants and help you get your projects together so that you can be proactive in 2026. And there is a lot of things going on, as you well know, with a new federal government and the initiatives around that. So we just want to make sure that your grants are updated for that. In this document, too, we've done 8 webinars together. So for some of you, we're going to do a poll in a minute to kind of get a sense of where you're at. Actually, I'll just launch it right now. We ask just like which part of the province, what size municipality you're coming from, sorry, and years experience. It just helps us report our numbers back. Also helps me understand who I'm speaking to a bit. So I'm going to launch that right now. You're going to see that. I'll share the results with you. You should see that. Jeff, do you see that coming through? Yeah, people definitely see it. Thank you for doing that. I'm just going to talk to you while you're answering that, and that these webinars, cover a number of different topics. So now you can just click on them and go back and see where you're at on this stuff. So we have. I'm just going to leave that up. Thank you very much for just letting us know. We report back, as I said, to the Alberta government on where people are coming from so we can keep these things going for you. And I'll just go just a few more seconds. Get the last few people in, if you don't mind. And then I will share that right now with you all. Here it comes.
David, while you're just from the chat, there's someone that's having difficulty opening the document. They're able to save it, but not open it.
Then just watch along. Is there anyone else with that? Jeff, I will attach it to you. Maybe you can just email it. And Jeff, were you able to download it? Could you email
I
it?
was able to download it. Yeah,
Can you get their email and just email them a copy?
sure thing.
See if
Yeah.
they can open up that way. I was able to. Thanks, Rochelle. Appreciate that. Can you guys see the results here? So we've got 46% from 41 from towns. We've got someone from a village. Boy, you're getting a competitive advantage here today. We've got 25% with less than 1 year. Wow, you're getting more experience. We used to have like 60% with, or a little bit higher. So you're getting more experience. That's great. And we have a third of you with 5+ years experience, and you know how much I appreciate you coming here and giving us your valuable time. So I'll end that. And Jeff, that should be off at your end. Is that off?
Yep. And
Okay.
again, if you didn't receive it or you just joined, please put your email address in the chat, and I can email it to you.
Thank you very much. All right, let's get rolling on the topic. Thank you for that. We don't get to talk to you very often. We just need to make sure that we get these admin things cleaned up. Now, let's get on to the topic today. So, drugs, homelessness, and mental health, can grants help? Obviously, we chose this topic because right across the entire country, I don't need to tell you what's going on. So there's a real challenge. And when I started this, I'm like, can grants help? And the answer was definitely yes, they can. Is it easy? No. But can you do it? Yes, you can. So that's the mindset we're going to take on this. And I'm going to give you, as I said, more of a working session about how I would handle this. I know that they're difficult. I've read a lot of reports on this getting ready over the summer for today's talk. I've read reports in communities like Lethbridge about challenges with data collection, and is the homeless count actually accurate? So it's very unsheltered people, counting them is very, very challenging. So bear with me, and I just want to give you a few tips on how I would go about handling this. Okay. Our desired outcome today is just to take a step forward in grants. I'm going to show you different aspects in each of these buckets, but I hope that when we're done here today, you're going to take a step forward because I'm going to ask you to do it. And if you participate along, you're definitely going to take a step forward. I always like to have three key messages, but just because we have some new people here, I just want to kind of walk you through this. So I always say winning a grant, right? It's you find the money, you meet them, meet the grant agency, hopefully in person or online, and then you submit an application. Now, there's another part of that, which is you find money, have a good project, get funding for those projects, and then submit. But in this context today, when we talk about meeting people, I just want you to understand about the complexity of stakeholders in this and how important it is going to be, as many of you already know, especially our veterans on here, of building these strong relationships, both with key stakeholders in government, but also nonprofits in your community. And then getting really good at developing your projects. And that is which type of projects are eligible and are they addressing the unique needs that your community needs. And then counting, a couple of things I always say about grant writing. It should be called grant research and writing because there's a lot of research that goes into grant writing. And sometimes, you just need to be able to count and keep this counting very, very simple. Okay. Keep it simple, like as simple as you can, right? And number of people that are considered unsheltered. Is it going up? Is it going down? Cost per door. How many doors do you need? These type of things. You really want to get comfortable with speaking, knowing your numbers, and making sure those numbers are going to align with what the government wants. Okay, and we can deal with this more in the chat either, but keep it simple. But you should be able to speak to the numbers, especially as we get into this space. And then submit a winning application. Building on the webinar we did last time, I got some feedback from you that you kind of like this working session format, which is I really like it too. But remember how I said last time, just you should be able to easily explain your grant application on a napkin. And this first exercise I'm going to have you do is a step towards being able to do that. And really, as we mentioned last time, is they are overwhelming. Let's be honest. These topics are overwhelming elected officials, especially in smaller communities. So we want to do what we can today to take something complex and slow it down and make it easy to understand. Now, this letter is just a reminder for people. Most people come into grants and they say, hey, we need a list of grants. When this project originally started, they said, hey, Dave, we talked to CEOs and they need a list of grants. And I'm like, they need more than a list of grants. Believe me, that's an easy part. What they want is a submitted grant application with a project that moves the needle for them. And as you're on here and we're talking, like you're pros now, like a lot of you, like you're becoming very good at this. So it's this idea of, what are we going after? Why are we going after? Does it move the needle? Can we count it? Can we communicate it to our stakeholders, both elected and our community, so that they get justification for what's going on? So I just say, look, we're going to just walk and not run and slow down. And you're going to see some really, I think, pretty staggering examples of like the amount of money you can get. But by just slowing down, and I know you're overwhelmed, you're stretched, we've got surveys with you, there's not enough time, but when you get into this space, please get out, do a little walk, come back and slow down. It'll help you. And the real thing I want you to hear is to get away with is staying focused and not get distracted, okay? So let's get started. And we're going to begin with an exercise. And like I said, I hope that you're near a computer. And we're going to begin with the end in mind. Now, if you're opening this, I want you to click on this. I want you to read this. I'm actually going to give you 4 minutes for this exercise. I'm going to set my timer up. This is an announcement. It just came out in July. $203 million. Jeff's got a few comments he's going to offer after this too. I want you to read it. I want you to come up with three takeaways. I'm going to set the timer here for 4 minutes. And I want you to share them in the chat. Timer starting now. Read from top to bottom and share three takeaways in this chat, and we'll see you shortly. We've got a minute left. Feel free to just, if there's something here that jumped out at you, I'd love to, let's help one another in the chat and say, okay, what are you seeing here that is resonating with you? All right, nice. Thank you very much. Just a sec. What's Rochelle saying? The projects are aligned with, yes, greater strategy. Exactly, Rochelle. Smart. I love people are looking at things that are not included. It's pretty sharp. Okay. Some other things here's some things that I want to add to this that keep it going in there too. Um, it's true, right? You can see, you know, different places that are getting whatnot, and also things. Here's some things that I want to show you. One is I'm glad you're reading it. right? Because we want to just see, okay, what's going on. But here are some takeaways that I have is who's who, right? We used to say, like you can come up with any catchy thing you want, but who are the players in this space that you need to know? And one thing that I love about this is, okay, whenever I see these quotes, I'm like, okay, this person, and this person. Now, how do I get in front of them? How do I tell them my story? And one of the things I do is even if I so there's a lot going on here to unpack, right? One is knowing our impact, knowing our greatest need, figuring out our projects, which I'm going to talk to you about here in a minute, and then communicating that with these people and building trust with them. So when Jeff and I were preparing for this, one of the things I said is, Jeff, I like to write letters. Like I'm big in the send the letter to Eleanor, the minister for Alberta here, and let her know, what's going on in our local community. So that's one thing I wanted to say. And Jeff, you when I said that to you, you had something that I just wanted you to share it with everybody.
Well, yeah, because there's a good chance, like, the minister may never even see that letter, particularly at the federal level, but it's going to flow down into the department and ultimately be looked at by the people that make these decisions. So, again, it's the person writing the briefing note or making the recommendations on how that flows up that you want that person to be aware. So, again, the letter may be addressed to someone more senior, but it will flow down into the department to the people that do make decisions. So, again, it's getting on the radar screen of those people that, again, make recommendations that is important.
And it also encourages you to get your ducks in a row, right? To be like, hey, what are we doing? What is our impact? So, as I'm going to show you further down here, some of these grants, they open, they're first come, first serve. This Build Canada thing that I'm going to show you is going to be launched soon. So everything you can be doing to get this master grant application built early is important. So knowing who's who is really important. And if I were you, I'd be thinking about, are they coming to my area? Is there a rodeo that they're coming to? Is there, when can they're coming here anyway. Can I have an opportunity to tell them our story, give them a tour? The next thing is around partners and just how important your partners are in this. And are you being proactive with them? Are you getting their letters, helping them getting their letters of support? Are you notifying them about these programs? So one is just being really intentional about that. And as I've been saying throughout this, is counting. Like the counting is just jumping out at me on all of this stuff because they're telling you, right? Look at this, 23 affordable housing units. So one of the things that I like to do, and I'm going to share this with you because I watch councils and I can see how much people are whelmed. How I go about dealing with a client that is really bright, and there's a lot of moving targets. So one of the things I look for here that jumps out at me as soon as I see this line right here, types of projects. You see that? You can see that, Jeff, okay? And so it's telling you the type of projects they're going to fund. Now, my veterans on here will go say, hey, Dave, I'm going to look at eligible projects in the program guide, which is great. But they're telling you basically on a silver platter here what they're going to fund. So here's just something I do, and you may or may not like it. But the first thing I'll do is I'll just take those and I'll begin like a Word document. So I'll be like, okay, so here are types of projects that can be funded. And I'll start to think about my community. And then really quickly, it gets kind of complex, right? So I'll take this. Now, some of you are going to be a lot more organized than I am. But this is kind of how I like to do this. So if I'll have a spreadsheet, again, you make this your own, okay? But I just want to show you how I handle this. If housing was a hot button issue, so I'll have a client that will have multiple projects going on, and I'll meet with them once every 2 weeks. I'll have a sheet like this, and this is just an example, okay? You're going to make this your own. But I'll say, okay, the new housing grant, I'll have the name of the grant or maybe even the name of the project. And then I'll have rows like this. Who's the lead applicant, deadline, and I can add as many of these as I want. Letter of support, greatest need scale. You'll notice that their line was like, we want to target on the greatest need. So I might be able to go through there and rank those. Amount requested, is it stackable? But for me, again, you can make this your own, but I'll have, for new housing, I'll have mixed income developments, I'll have renovations, and I'll run these down here, whether it's grants on that project. Now, you're going to have to dig into this if you've got multiple going on with renovations. So I'll let you kind of navigate that for your community. But as you come over here, it could be land transfers, I'll have stakeholders. And as you get into this, it can be pretty overwhelming pretty quick in the sense of, who was Bill or Yusuf or whoever that I spoke to 6 months ago. And I'll just like to track all of my stakeholders in this housing space in one area. I'll have the minister in here, I'll have the staff in here that have received things. And again, everyone will do things different, but I'll have my action list as well too. So I'll have, who, what, when, where here, and then I'll have my grant status. So the name of the grant, when it was submitted. I'll make this bigger for you. Sorry. Amount requested, one. And really what I'm doing here is stakeholder management, right? Like, when an elected official come in who's retired and has a lot of time on their hands, which is great, but they come in like, where are we at? Or citizens are saying, where are we at we're frustrated and you're getting heat. I just like to have one document tracking where it's easy to do that. And it's nothing super fancy. Some of you may be using software that's better, but I like this. And I wanted to say that for you, if I'm in your shoes, this is something that I would try to get to if you're not getting there quickly, because it's hard to keep all of these moving things on track. Yes, I can share. Yeah, would you like a copy of this? Sure. Let me just do it right now. Hold on. Here it comes. Right here. Just take that. But and anyways, you'll find this because really grants is a game of project management and expectations, like managing expectations. And when I see surveys with turnover rates of senior officials and stuff, this will bring a lot of peace to the process if you get this right, right? So this, you'll just become really good at this. You'll be like, oh, got a council meeting. Here are the 6 grants we've got going on. One for mixed income, one for a new build, one for a land transfer. Here it is. We've submitted. We've got this much. We've won or lost. This is where we're at. So you can make this dance if you get it right. All right. Does that make sense? Let me know here if you're seeing and you're following along in the chat. Is that cool? Okay, you got it. Thank you, Wanda. Appreciate that. Now let's go back to that. So know the people, really start to think through your partners, and we'll go through it. Now, next up, I can answer some questions too, if you've got some more on that at the end of this. So let's go first into drugs. The way we did this last time in our webinar was around, we just kind of showed you where the money was going. And that kind of worked pretty well. So I'm going to go through that with you today. I'm going to go through one exercise here with you. There's 3 exercises. This is the second one here, rather than just show you different grants. But I just kind of want to show you where some of the money's going. And we'll get into this. So on the drug front, grants for drugs, this was a major one. This one here called Substance Use and Addictions Program. And you can see Victoria here, City of Victoria got $2 million. There's the name, and look what it says: strength and response and drug and substance use issues in Canada. And then here you can see Kelowna got 1.5 million. And then the city of Edmonton gets 1.1 million. So what I want you to do right now, by the way, remember how I said earlier about slowing down and kind of thinking through about how much you get? Look at this. This city has, again, I have limited information here, okay? But I Googled the population of Victoria, it's 100,000. They got 2 million bucks. And this city has 150,000, got 1.5 million. And the city of Edmonton has a population of 1.5 to 1.7, from what I could tell latest. And they get 1.1. So one of the lessons I want you to take if you're taking some notes and jotting this down is definitely think bigger. You saw the amount of dollars that are going in this place. And I have clients, like one client just got potentially a $5 million project. And it's like, just go, like, don't limit yourself to the size of this. But what I want you to do is something similar we did to this last project. So take this, go active projects, open this up at your end. I'm going to do it so you can follow along here. And I'll go show entries. I'll go 50. So there's 58 active projects, and I like to sort it by city. You can see this okay? Just let me know if you can see this okay. We should be looking at a table right now. Can you see it okay in the chat? Just someone say yes for me if you can see it. Okay. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. So you can do this on your own, but I'm going to go through this with you. I'm going to give you a minute to kind of read some of the projects. But notice some of the small towns like Abbotsford, and it'll say like, so the city of Abbotsford here won 800 grand, and then some are nonprofits. But I want you to go through this. I'm going to get you to go through and look at the projects here in a minute. But what I find interesting is look at these communities. They're just smaller communities in province like Burnaby. Now, the big cities are doing pretty well. But outside of the big cities, there's Edmonton, Fredericton's a small town, Hamilton, Kamloops, Kenora. These are kind of like mid-sized cities. So I'm thinking like our Lethbridges and Red Deer and Grand Prairies and Fort McMurray's. There's one in Alberta. Um, but as you go through this, just take a minute now and read a couple of things. I want you to get comfortable with. I just want you to use this time to get your skills going. I just don't want to lecture you. You've got time on it. Just take a minute now. I'll set a 2-minute timer. Look at the type of projects being funded for drugs. I've emailed them. It's closed right now. They said they're not sure when it's going to reopen. So this is the time to start thinking through your partners, your projects, and just give that a read. I'm just going to set this for 2 minutes so you can look at it and spend some time on that. Here it is. So you're just looking for projects, what they're funding, size of the communities, that type of thing. And then I've got a couple questions for you. Just less than a minute here. Just want to familiarize yourself. You can see these smaller towns winning almost $1 million. Yeah, it's I'm trying to get your head around kind of what they're funding. And again, what I would be doing, feel free to any insights you've got in the chat, just drop it in there. But if I were you, I'd be like, okay, what projects, who are the people in my community that, we need to get ready when this thing opens? And what type of projects do we want to do? These are the projects that are being funded. And I'd just be proactive about it. And some of them, it's like cities. But I have a question for you. You don't need to answer this, but like, has anyone won this? Like, why are all these other cities winning it, mid-sized cities, and we're not winning it? Like, we're other than city, and there was one other one, but has anyone won this or even applied? You don't need to answer it, but I mean, I'm just curious. I find it very strange that other people, other towns are winning it. We're not. And like maybe they just didn't release them yet. Um, I don't know. You don't need to answer. I just find it very interesting that we don't have any communities there. Maybe it's a data thing. So if not, I would be all over this. I would email these people. I would build a relationship with them. And I just find it kind of shocking. So again, you can kind of see, I'll just kind of bounce around here just so we're kind of getting comfortable with it. I know this is the housing one. I might have a separate one uh, for mental health or something, but you know, I definitely want to come up with projects. Like, what projects are we going to potentially be putting applications forward with? Now, the next thing I've got for you is maybe here's a better question. Did anybody know of that app? Like, was that a popular grant? Does anyone want to answer that? Like, were people aware of it? That might be a nicer way to ask that question. Just trying to get a sense. Don't know about it, never heard about it. It's insane. All these people are saying no. Yeah, but it'll open back up. So they close and open, right? Yeah. So that's what we're trying to do with the. Now I'm starting to rethink my comments earlier about list of grants. uh, right. So that's the thing we're trying to track with this. So I would just be proactive. I'd be reaching out, but that was kind of the money from what I could tell. And I've spent a lot of hours on this. That was the money grant. Other areas, here's where it gets interesting. Um, some of these, and again, we're just staying on drugs here. I got to watch my time because I got one more thing I want to do with you before we go. You've got this. You can did this on your own. But there was like building safer communities funds, and there were cities like Charlottetown, population I think like 40,000 or something, getting like anti-gun, anti-gang grants. So don't be fooled by what their criteria are, was one of my key things. And I just started looking around at different cities, and there was a news article, Grand Prairie raids net 4 gang related suspects. And I love Grand Prairie. I don't mean to have a bad news article ahead of you, but I'm just trying to show you the relationship to grants that you could possibly tie it to. So it's just not necessarily, large communities. So grants can be just more flexible than you realize. I had a student in my last class. She reached out. She's like, Dave, the website says we're not eligible. I'm like, call them. Like, they might make you eligible, and they were fine with it. So don't necessarily take at face value what these websites say. Try to really build a relationship. Anyway, I don't want to bore you to death on this stuff, but you can kind of see that there's different youth grants. I know we have some police departments on here. If I was a police department looking at this, I'd be partnering with nonprofits, educating them on this, giving them a letter of support to say, hey, I think you should do this. A lot on the justice stakeholders. And there's one here, this one here I found really interesting. It says an eligible applicant for this one right here, municipality and other local governments working in collaboration with Indigenous organizations and communities. And one thing I found working with people in grants is, if you should, like, let's say you're trying to do something and get support internally, and if you wave this piece of paper in front of them and say, hey, there's a grant here, but we need to work in collaboration with an Indigenous organization and say you're trying to get funding or approval to do something. It's a terrific way to build support. You know what I mean? Like you can say like, look, this grant, we have to do this. So we want to have this open house or we want to have this ride along program or whatever it is. Let me tell you something. When people see the dollars like that, they're just like, oh, okay. Hopefully that landed with you. It's just, as soon as I saw that, that's what I thought of. I've been emailing all these grant agencies back and forth. I wanted to let you know this one. They wrote me back. They're expected to open really soon. So it's currently closed. And those of you that get the Gazette will see that we put that it's going to open. But if you go on the website right now, it's closed. So this is when I would encourage you to get into, okay, what's the project? Get those letters of support going so that when it's ready to open, you can apply. Because often in my 30% of people on the call right now who have 5 years experience know darn well that when these grant calls open up and they're due in 6 weeks and you've got to get the project clarified, you've got to get the letters of support. It's like it's almost too late, you know? I mean, you can just be so much further ahead by taking some steps now and moving forward. So check that out. Okay. One last one last exercise I want to do. Again, you've got all these grants. I didn't want to be just saying, here's a grant, here's a grant, here's a grant. We're really going to do that in our grant calendar. I wanted to show you something cool that maybe you don't know about. And that's the last thing we're going to do here today. Obviously, you're hearing about Prime Minister Carney in this build homes, how they're going to do it. They just did a call that says stay tuned for more information coming in the coming weeks. So you can go here and, even on their main page, you can see this blue, we're engaging with partners and stakeholders to refine their approach to build Canada homes. So put it in your calendar on watching this really closely. But hopefully from what you're taking away from today is, look what they're currently funding, get these projects, get these partners, know your numbers, get all of this going, humming along now. That way, when this drops, including reaching out to the key stakeholders, when this drops, you're ready to strike. And that's how you get really great at grants. Sometimes it's just being first, internally under getting things that you can control in order. Like, what's your greatest need? How big is it? How are you going to solve it? Who are the people involved? This opens, go. That's a really significant part in my life of being good at grants, was sort of being first, having a really good project, a project scope statement and things like that. But that's not what I want to show you. The last thing I want to show you is something a bit unusual. So I was reading in a document in Lethbridge about this, so these pointing counts and how anyone in the housing industry is probably somewhat familiar with this. And, they're trying to count the population of people that don't have homes. So one of the reports, and by the way, there's a library at the end of this, was around people unsheltered with neither a mental health nor substance abuse, 27% of the last count. And in this count, I found it very interesting. It's right here. Look what it said. The most frequent identifier was not enough income, followed by substance abuses. Now, look, some of you are going to know data a heck of a lot better than I do. But I was just very fascinated by this, that people need more income and they're struggling. And if I'm a municipality, how can I help them? So what I want to show you now is kind of how the money flows for helping people get income in your communities. And then you need to run with it and figure out what you're going to do. So there's this directory. How many of you are familiar with this? Here comes the in the chat. Can I get a yes or no in the chat? Okay. So what this is a really important list. Employment and Training Services Directory. Remember, we're talking about income for people who can't afford housing. We all know about the cost of living. So Search free programs and services in your area to support your job search, build search, getting training, and find employment. So what I want you to do, I'm going to give you an example of how this would work, and then I'm going to show you how the money flows. So I'm going to go, let's go to Lethbridge. I'm going to apply my filter, and you're going to see there are 13 results. And I'm going to show you an example here. So here is the Teamwork Career Center, and they've got fast track for employment. So watch what I'm doing here. I'm showing you government dollars going into your communities to help people get jobs. Now, you might say, hey, Dave, that's not direct for me. Well, if we get them jobs and they can afford to get housing, they can get off the streets. So if you go onto this website, we're going to go onto their website, and I go to employers. Oh, sorry, let's go to the home. Let's go to the home. And it says, you can see this okay? And I'm going to go, I'm an employer. And you can see project hire here. So look at this. So this is in Lethbridge. This is an organization. It's a free program, government funded. And look what it offers. Receive a wage subsidy to offset the cost of the training. And they'll have wage subsidies like for their employer as well. They'll have various ones. Look at this. So that an employer can get 10 grand. And they'll even have training dollars. But what I want to show you is you come down here. Look at this. So this is a, federal and provincial government money going into your communities, helping people improve their jobs. We're going to watch this. I just want you to watch this video. This will be the last thing. They'll be throughout the province, okay? There's these service, whether you're in Stony Plain or Grand Prairie or Red Deer, Career Assistance Network, Madison. I want you to just, see how this works, okay? So bear with me. Here it comes. I just want to make sure I've got the audio on. Yep. You should hear this. I'm going to watch the chat if you can't hear it, but I'm going to play it right now.
I just need to pull myself up, buckle down, and get out there. I'll find a job eventually. For many job-seeking Albertans, this is their whole plan. But without the right skills, or even just a little direction, pounding those online job boards can be frustrating. It is proven that Albertans who access job search services are 11 times more successful in not only securing employment faster, but obtaining better quality jobs. Teamwork's Project Hire provides free services designed to meet the unique needs of Albertans and help them find meaningful, sustainable full-time employment in the shortest time possible.
They could pinpoint sort of what your strengths and where your weaknesses were and guide you to a place where you needed to be.
We pair each member of Project Hire with a dedicated career coach to create a personalized and streamlined program that addresses each job seeker's specific needs and provides access to job-related skills training.
My experience with Teamworks was invigorating, educating, and it was fabulous. I felt part of a team.
Project Hire also serves as a great free resource for local employers to help connect them to the local workforce. Free services include programs which assist with skill training, connect with local workforce, and wage subsidy programs to hire people with skills directly related to your business needs.
Project Hire has been incredible for my business. I was desperate to hire somebody, and they found the perfect fit.
Just due to time, I'm going to stop that there. But you can see, right? This is a really helpful tool for you understanding where the money is going, right? Like where money to go to get people, jobs in your space. So I would just encourage you. This is kind of where like I end and you pick up. It's like, how do you communicate this to people? Like, how do you get it to them so that you're counting these people? Like, do you bring them to council? Do they talk about the number of people that have gone through? Do you have something on your website that helps people know about these programs? But I feel like it should be, in terms of what you're counting, it can be something that when people say, where are we at with people without a home, you can say, well, this is something else we count. And if you don't know that, they will, they'll, you wouldn't know. So anyways, I show you this because I figured some of you didn't know about it, but it's very, very important piece of this of getting people is increasing their income. With that, I want to leave a few minutes here if anyone has any questions, but the list of grants, pretty straightforward. You can find them here, okay? I'm not going to bore you with that. And then these are all the different programs. I just did this to save you time. So you can see there's energy efficient. We actually interviewed them at that webinar, someone here. So that was kind of cool too. And then there's your provincial stuff. I don't want to make you dizzy here, but this is all in there. And you can see it gets into like newcomers. There's a lot. Veterans, gender-based violence, housing. So there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of different projects that you could be working on. And then on your mental health grants, again, I have a whole list of them here that I'm not going to spend the whole time going through, but you can see like researchers are getting them with getting money to sort of count. And oftentimes these grants, these federal grants especially, want collaboration with university partners. So I'm just trying to show you when you search the Open Grant database, this is what you get, and I have links to all of this for you as well. So I'm not trying to overwhelm you right now, but as we build these stakeholders, it's good to know who's getting the money, who's the expert, can you collaborate with them on a project? And then you'll just go through here and you'll see all kinds of stuff on, what city of Airdrie got. There was a challenge that opens up and they'll submit an application and win. So you got to have that master grant application, getting these projects ready. That's why I'm kind of on it. If you're interested in AI, etc. So with that, I'm going to, I'll just kind of, there's buildings, there's all these. I'm just going to go to the end here for you. There was transportation, other ways around mental health, this idea of Lloydminster Museum and art. I just gave you a broad list of them there. Seniors, Sylvan Lake won some. Anyway, you've got this. You can go through it. The final thing I want to get to here is just some key points. You can see how crazy it is, right? First responders. I know we have some police on here as well. There's a link to some library resources. These are the two kind of major ones that I thought were most valuable. There's a list of all of the grants. So if you're like, Dave, there were so many grants, that was overwhelming. There they are. I just hyperlink them. Every grant that's in this, you can just go to this page and click on it quickly. So there's a lot of them there. I didn't want to spend the whole time going through that. I want to go through sort of tips on how you could win it. So summary, this idea of finding money, building trust with those stakeholders, really work at getting good at these projects, counting, know your numbers, whether it's things like, hey, number of unemployed, number of people through that program, we know dollars are coming through. How you're going to tie that through, I'm not really sure, but I know this is a really bright group, so you'll figure out how you want to do that. In terms of next steps, remember you've got the grant database. You can click on that. Please send me an email. I'll save the chat. I know some of you want this to track the Grant Gazette and the course. Of course, if you're interested, some of you are. Some of you've taken it and you're here today. Thank you. And sorry, this should be your 2026 calendar. Just make a change of that on your end. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is a lot of content, but when we did it originally, it was like 3 subjects, and I was like, each one could be a webinar on their own. So I'm very aware that I threw a lot at you because it was 3 buckets. I probably should have done 1 bucket, but it is what it is. And this recording will be available, so So any questions? Feel free to just let me know here. Yes, it will be available. And also, I just want to say, for those of you still around, one of my things was not to be too discouraged. You know what I mean? They kind of need a lot of hope right now, and you're a bright group. So this is kind of where it's going. Get proactive, and I think you can really do great things. And those of you that are more advanced, like take these additional things that I said and put them to work. I think I think we can help a lot of people, through this. And you go out, I think we can help a lot of people. Jeff,
Yeah. Yes. Thanks again, David. I think it was very informative, getting lots of positive feedback there in the chat. And again, thanks everyone for joining us today.
any final remember that I would just keep printing these off, right? Build that binder. And I just, again, thank you to the new people. If you're new and this was overwhelming, go back and watch the earlier webinars. Um, for the veterans on here, I've got a soft spot for you because I have so much respect for you all. Thank you for trusting me. I appreciate that. All right. I think that's right. So we'll see people on the 9th. We'll send you a list of your grants. It's always a really well-received one. And thanks to ABmunis for hosting. I hope you found this valuable today. And there'll be a survey coming out, so please just let us know how we do. I always like feedback, so I read them all. So please give me comments. If it was too much or anything, or you liked it, let me know. Thank you, Jeff. That's a wrap for me.
Thanks, David. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.